What up?
Yo, how's it going?
Que pasa? It's going.
Good, good, good. Glad to
A
hear
little
it.
tired, a little wired.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Go live. There we go.
Tell you what, man, I tried some gummies to like not take so much of the narcotics or whatever.
Yeah. You jumped right into a live, by the way.
Do what?
So you jumped into a live, but no one's here yet.
All right, good. Well, it doesn't matter to me that
Yeah.
I tried them, and yeah,
Not your
that is
bag.
not as it's not as well. I wouldn't say that.
Hey, Red Raider. Thanks for jumping
Well,
on.
hey, Red Raider, what's the thing is though, it can be pretty powerful
Yeah.
without you realizing.
I have a friend that he was having trouble sleeping. He just couldn't go to sleep early, like early as he'd like to. And he
Right,
started doing the like the CBD drops, and
right.
I mean, it's like almost a necessity now. If he wants to go to sleep for a certain amount of time, just knocks him out.
Wow,
Hello, Adam
wow.
Olivier. How are you, sir?
He would have been doing a lot better if we had started 30 minutes ago.
If it started 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
By the way, I'm hoping this. I had it set up with my old mic, and I'm hoping the audio is coming through on this like it should. Austin White, thanks for jumping on. But I got a new mic coming in, but my kids came into the office when they weren't supposed to and knocked this off and broke the port back here. So they're sending me a new microphone, a different type. So hopefully it works as well as this one did because I like this one. Great. I'm glad to hear it's working. That makes it. I am feeling much better. Thank you, Austin. I still have plenty of cough drops, but I am nowhere near as bad as I felt last time we live streamed. I appreciate you asking.
yeah. How are you doing, buddy? Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm great. I don't know what it is. Like it's going around. This is not just it's going around.
Right.
But it's at night mainly. Like during the day, I'm fine, but at night, uh, I get these coughing fits, especially when I'm trying to go to sleep. Yeah, thank you, Red Raider. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough couple of weeks. I had flu, and then I had whatever this was for about 2 weeks, and my kids all had it too, and my wife. So it was fun times. But yeah, everything's fantastic. I appreciate y'all all checking up on me.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I felt a little rough this past week, but I got over it, I guess. I don't know. It didn't hit me as bad as it hit you.
Yeah, well, it given my oldest child is 7 and I have 3 kids, so they go to school, they touch each other, they hug each other, they get snot all over everything, and then they come and hug and all that stuff with me, and then they crawl in the bed and cough in my face all night. So it's hard to avoid a lot of things right now.
I understand.
Yeah.
I remember those years.
Austin White, Commandery installation season is up and going around. Temple 41 just installed yesterday. Man, I gotta tell you,
Nice.
talking about Commandery, I I have been really itching to get back involved with Commandery. Like it's the one body like I haven't really gone through and really explored as much as I'd like. And it's hard,
Right,
at least where I'm at right now. It's hard to find a Commandery. Like we tried to get one at Hillsboro. There was one that was going to move to us, and they changed their mind at the last moment and moved to a different lodge. And I don't think that they've met yet to this day. And that's where my membership's at. And yeah, yeah. So it's a sore subject at my lodge, but it's a little
and I
aggravating.
thought I thought y'all originally had a commandery in your lodge,
We did. We
and
had
and then they chose not to go there. That's crazy.
we had a commandery. I mean, Hillsboro Lodge is set up for York right. It's just the
Right.
I don't think you've been there, but just the way that the building is set up, uh, the storage we have. We got all kinds of Yorkite stuff. We had a commandery, and unfortunately, there was someone dropped the ball on some tax issues, and so it had to demise because it owed quite a bit. But yeah, so the Hillsboro commandery cannot happen again. But so we're trying to get another commandery to transfer over or merge with us.
Right.
Professor Giggs, nice seeing both of you here after chatting with y'all at the Corpus Christi OLT. Greetings from Brownsville, Texas, home of Rio Grande Lodge. Man, that Corpus OLT was fun. That was a good time.
Absolutely.
Adam says, Olivier, I really wish I could see what a good chapter council commander looks like. The only commander meetings I've been to are just practicing marching. Yeah, Adam, I'll be honest. I mean, just completely frank. I went through all of the Yorkite degrees, all of them, chapter, council, and commandery in one day. It was one Saturday from sun up to sundown. It was like a brain blast. Just so much information coming my way. And I was working night shift at the time, so I went straight from work to this, and then I went straight back. But my point is, I was really excited about Yorkite after I went through the degrees, just because I could tell there was a lot of really good information in it. And I went to my first Yorkite meeting, and everybody's reading from books, and nobody knows any of the signs or anything like that. It was embarrassing, and I realized right away that the Yorkite, at least at that lodge, was not what it could be. And unfortunately, I mean, you got a few bastions of Yorkite light here in Texas, but unfortunately, for many lodges, that's kind of the norm. They don't know the signs. They don't know how to open and close Yorkite. And granted, Hillsboro isn't perfect. We're working on learning how to do all these things because we're coming from a merge. So we're stronger now. We're going the right direction, but we're all kind of starting from square one on this. But most chapters of councils, I mean, they got that book and they don't deviate from it. They don't do anything without it. Certainly can't confer any degrees and don't know any of the signs. And
well, I think a lot of it boils down to the same thing that's hurting the Blue Lodges is that we've got we've had in the past some people get in there and they saw Freemasonry as one way and they created that in the lodge, and it of course bled over into the York Rite because all of your York Rites are associated with lodges mostly, and so you have the same group of people. It's the same problem that we have in all our little country lodges, right? You have the same group of people that are doing the same thing for everything. Every little club has the same people in it, so it becomes just the same place, same thing, different place, and calling it under a different hat. And yet you still have the same topics of discussion. You have the same trauma that bleeds over from one to the other. And I agree, commandery, a lot of it is mostly just drills. That's the big thing for commandery. It's like the home away from home for people who like floor school. It really is. They don't really go into a whole lot of education. It's just mainly about getting the drills right so that you can pass the test.
Well,
but
go ahead.
But we are starting something in San Antonio. We are starting an education program very similar to what we've been doing in Scottish Rite. And we're going to have Zoom. We've already started the Zoom, and we're going to have in-person Masonic education as well. And we're not the only ones, but there's just a few of us that are starting to do that around the state to bring a better experience, that experience that Justin and I both saw, and you probably have seen, like you mentioned, you saw, to get rid of that. And yeah, that has its time and place, but we should learn more about what we went through than how to move our feet and all that kind of stuff. So You
There's
can't have one without the other. It's not. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Who likes peanut butter and bananas? God.
oh yeah,
Besides
it's
Elvis.
strange. That's just really weird, right?
Besides
We
Elvis,
got a few
right?
comments.
Weirdo.
Mats is here. Unfortunately, York Rat has been a bit sloppy. The books are there to train at home from, not to read in the lodge. Red Raider says Lubbock is learning as well, but yes, the book becomes a crutch, and we are driving to grow and learn. Interesting. Um,
And here
sorry,
he
guys, the
goes.
cough's not totally gone yet. But interesting you say that is when my granddad passed away, I inherited all his Masonic stuff, and there was a cipher book in his old books. It was a Yorkite cipher book, and so it wasn't always plain text. Right? It was a time when it was cipher, and I suspect the laws was very similar. Like you don't bring that into the lodge room. You use this to study with at home,
Right.
like Mats is saying, and then you come with the information to the lodge. And
Right.
I think because I'm currently the high priest in Dry Celestius at my chapter and council, and I'm thinking I'm going to come up with the rule. Basically, we're not bringing these into the lodge anymore. Like we only meet quarterly for stated meetings, and then we still meet every month, but it's like practice. So bring it for
Right.
those. We'll practice, right? But when it's stated meeting night and we're doing it official, don't bring it in with you. We need to have these things
Right.
learned. Um,
Right.
yeah, and Commandery, going back to what you said, it was very similar for me. Like, I didn't like drill when I was in the military. I'm sure not just going to do it for fun on my volunteer time. That's not fun.
Right.
But the thing is, in like others have pointed out, and you yourself, it's the same people, right? That's part of the reason I think we have too many chapters of councils. I think you need to be able to pull from 3 or 4 lodges to get a
Yeah.
variety of members.
It should be more of a district thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or even more of a bi-district or tri-district thing, so that you have more um, participation into one area. Whatever is just draw a circle around those 3 districts and then drop a pin right in the middle, and that's the lodge closest to it is where you meet.
Yeah.
But there's too much. I don't want to meet in that lodge, or I'm not going inside of my blah blah blah.
Well,
Too much of that for the success for Freemasonry, right?
yeah, yeah. We get
So
territorial.
that's too obvious.
We get too
Yeah,
territorial.
that's too obvious.
I would say, and you touched on this, you don't want how do I really want to put this? We've already established, at least you and I, understand that we don't really want lodges that are just focusing on charity work all the time and things like that, right?
Right.
York Rite, I think, gives us an opportunity. We don't have as much business typically. It gives us an opportunity to really focus more on education, right? Maybe going out and eating and having better meals, and frankly, I think York Rite is also probably a good organization that I'm more inclined to say, hey, we're going to do a gift drive or something like this for local kids or something like
Right.
that.
Right. Back to blue kind of thing.
Yeah. But Blue Lodge is supposed to be the bread and butter. Like, it's the foundation of everything. And York Rite, I think, is a prime candidate for bringing in Masonic education and saying, hey, look, we're just gonna pick this. And this is going to be, and I think every organization could probably do this. We're going to pick this, and this is going to be our big thing that we focus on this year. For example,
Right.
like even a Blue Lodge, and I said it before. If you're a Blue Lodge and you do a fish ride annually, keep doing it, but don't try to think of something every month you got to do for a fundraiser, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with York Ride. Like, if you wanna do like a what's it, like an angel tree or something, that's great. But I mean, don't make it like something you feel like you got to do every month or something like that.
Right. And at the same time, when you start doing that, you start falling into this hole of these stupid little fundraisers that make you $50 or $100,
Mhm.
and what's the good in that, really? I mean, come on.
So I'll
That's
tell
just
you,
wasting time. I would rather give $100 and not
Yeah.
not call it a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Just
And so,
everybody, it's time to pitch in. Everybody, this it's time to to pony up for. We're going to give this many toys. This is our goal. Everybody give this much money, and we'll reach our goal.
yeah. And to your point, so we're doing something at Hillsborough right now for chapter council, and basically we're partnering with a local church, and they give us some basically a list. Like, here's you volunteer, and
Their
they
needs.
associate you with a kid and say this is what they need and what they want. And so we go out and buy the stuff and give it to church. And it's not like
Yeah, you're giving an angel tree.
yeah, yeah. But we are giving. It's not like, hey,
Right.
we gotta sling a whole bunch of pancakes to raise money for this. No, I'm actually giving charity. I'm actually practicing
Right,
charity.
exactly.
And
Then you're actually doing some real charity. That's wonderful.
and furthermore,
Yeah.
this is not like, hey, this is a photo opportunity or anything like that. And if you know me, you know I'm huge on photo opportunities. But this is
Right, right.
this is the kind of thing where no,
There,
you should not be. Like, if it's
there's
charity,
nothing
if you're
wrong.
actually trying to
Yeah,
give, you don't publicize that.
right. There's nothing wrong with being charitable, and there's nothing wrong with getting FaceTime on whatever you're doing or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the guys that have really kept the organization going, that have kept our charities going, I don't think that most of our listeners or anybody else out there even know who those guys are.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones with the money that are in the background going and meeting with other people with money to tell them, hey, let's get together and do this. We don't want our names involved. We're just raising money for this organization.
Yeah.
And there's a few of those out there that are serious. They do their job well, and they're the ones that are actually funding our hospitals and all of that. It's not so much the pancake breakfast that people are happy to boast about.
Yeah. We got a few comments. These are on Facebook. Donnie Brunswick says, hello, evening, y'all. And William Batters, the right worshipful William Batters, says hello.
Hey.
Mark McCarthy from Manchester, New Hampshire, Washington Lodge number 61.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for hopping on.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. It's crazy. I go back and I try to do likes to everybody on the Facebook, but after a while, everybody's commenting and everything. And after a while, it's, oh my gosh, there's so many comments on a live stream. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so much like TikTok. It's hard to keep up with. Right?
Well, yeah.
But thank you all for coming.
We got one guest, T666. How can I become a member of Freemasonry? Red Raider suggests search the Grand Lodge of your state, look for email or I want to join link, and they'll be happy to find someone close to you to explain the process. Yeah, that's probably one of the best ways to do it. Or unless you just have a lodge a couple blocks away and you want to find out when they meet and pop in and say hello. But either way, you have to. The thing that I've come to realize is Freemasonry is all about you voluntarily taking yourself out of your comfort zone, right? Like no one will invite you, no one will bring you in. It's all you. Are you willing to take the initiative? Are you willing to reach out? Are you willing to ask?
Yeah.
It's all about you. It's a self-driven.
That's what's so funny about people that talk about self-serving, as far as going on Facebook and stuff like that. Because that's the only way you can join is if you promote yourself to the fraternity. Mm-hmm. And you tell these guys, look, I'm here. I want to join. This is what I bring to the table. And then they vote on if you're going to get to join or not.
Yeah.
And so it's so crazy that, we think of one thing on one way and the exact same thing is totally bad in another way. It's crazy how we have our double standards and stuff.
So Motz says, my Freemason background tells me to be anonymous when it comes to charity, not show off. And frankly, that's my Southern Baptist background. It's don't let the left hand know what the right is doing. If if you're being charitable, if you're giving charity, it's your own money, and you're not doing it for anything, any kind of personal gain or anything like that. It's not charity.
Right.
And if you're taking pictures telling
Right.
everybody what a great job you're doing, that's not charity because that's personal gain.
Right.
You're trying to show off yourself.
Well, now let's just take a little step back from that, though. And I say that because, excuse me, I'm not so quick with the mute as he is. I'm not as sickly as he is. I'm going to cough in your face.
By the way, while you're recovering from that cough, we got 7 viewers and 2 likes on YouTube, and got 3 on Facebook, and just like 1 like. It's just, if you're listening, if you'll just be sure to give us a like, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That'll really help with the algorithm, help get the live out to more people. You may continue now, Dennis.
Well, thank you. Now that you've totally interrupted that thought, that's okay though. But yeah, we shouldn't. I don't know. Yeah, we want to market ourselves, but at what expense? When so there's been things that have been started through my church that I've been a part of, and then I helped get it started, and then I just participated, right? And so we got our picture in the paper and all that kind of stuff because the church was doing this, and now it's an annual thing, and that's great. I actually hadn't been a part of it for the past couple of years because I've been so busy doing other things. But it was cool. I had a part in that. I didn't feel the need to tell everybody in the world that we were part of starting this one thing, and man, talk about feeling good about doing charity.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still the chance for the photo ops. We just didn't say that it was all, our brainchild when it started. We didn't go around telling everybody it was our brainchild. But we were in photos and stuff, doing the work and stuff like that, just as volunteers. So I don't think that there's a problem with taking photos and stuff as being volunteers or whatever, just showing good works or what have you. But for it to be all about the photos and just trying to put on a facade that you're, charitable, when you're really just keeping that charity just so that you can keep your doors open, as one member that I know would say, that there is no Freemasonry without charity. If we don't do that, we won't keep the doors open. Then I would rather not have Freemasonry.
There was a conversation, Onyx Palms. We have elections this upcoming Wednesday. Anyone else going into election season 2? Red Raider says they just did Commandery elections. And then, let's see.
Grand Commandery is coming up. And then we're going into Grand Lodge.
Grand Commandery. Grand Chapter Council. What's Grand Commandery?
Grand Chapter and Council.
Yeah, that's this coming
Grand Conclave.
I can't make it Thursday and Friday. I can't make it Thursday and Friday. But I will be there Saturday. So hopefully I'm not missing everything that's worth seeing. Let's see. Okay, Onyx Palms. I'm running for Worship Master this Wednesday. There's a lot of elder brothers that are resistant to embracing tech and moving on to 21st century Masonry. That's an uphill battle, but necessary. Yeah, it's extremely necessary. And best of luck on that battle. Doesn't sound like you're in Texas, because our election is not until summer. But yeah, I mean, if your lodge doesn't have a Facebook page at a minimum, and if you're not taking pictures and sharing things, I mean, people can't join something they don't know exists, right?
But there's some Grand Lodges that won't allow that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so they are behind the 8 ball. But I don't see why people aren't using Zoom to have their meetings for lodges. Why are lodges not having their fundraiser committee get together on Zoom and talk about their ideas and things, instead of it all having to be meeting in a secret place or whatever, and then it never happening? Why are people not using technology like that? I mean, you're not talking about the ritual. if you're
Yeah.
not talking about the ritual, then you should be utilizing all the technology available to you to do your job.
Onyx Palm says it's not about the photo ops, it's good PR because the internet is working overtime to discredit our fraternity. Well, yeah, of course. And what I'm saying is if I'm visiting a lodge as an individual, I'll take a selfie in front of the building and tag the building and post it, right? Or if we have a really good master's degree, then we'll all get against the wall somewhere and take a picture with everybody. Or if there's a lot of people at the dinner, I'll take a picture with everybody. And there's plenty of opportunity for PR. But I don't know. It's teach your own. I mean, there's no law saying you can't promote your own charity. I just think it seems self-serving, but it's whatever.
If you're actually having a fundraiser where you are relying on the public to help you raise those funds, then yeah, you got to do marketing in some way.
Yeah.
So you better be using Facebook and you better be using all those things that are available to you. But it's just a little bit different from what Justin and I believe, charity should look like in Freemasonry. We think should look a little bit different.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having the fundraisers that are kind of out there for people. But why don't you do a charity like have a blood run? Talk about something that's really needed right now. Call your local blood bank and they will send a team out to your lodge or whatever to do a local blood run,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can actually do some good without it saying it's me. You're just facilitating somebody else's
Yeah.
good work, and it's
For as
great
little
PR.
as 10 cents a month, you can adopt your own vampire today.
Right. But we need more blood out there. I'm O negative. I should be giving as many times as I can because I have the universal blood.
I'm
But
O positive.
yeah, so I could not take yours or you'd kill me.
Well, yeah, I have that effect on people anyway.
I have super blood.
You
Everybody
get
can
super blood.
can have. Yep, everybody can use my blood.
Gotcha.
If you are cold blooded like me,
Um,
but yeah, that's we just think a little differently in different charitable things.
man, that snuck up
But
on
of
me.
course, we participate with our lodges, though we do. It's not like we don't. But
um,
you know,
let's see. O'Neill Perez says, "Is it really that simple? Just to go to a lodge?" Talking about joining. Yeah, man. It's like I said. It's all about going out of your comfort zone. Find the advice I was given earlier about going to a Grand Lodge website is probably the best way because there are lodges out there that I'll just be frank. Freemasonry has a name associated with it and a reputation associated with it, and we haven't branded ourselves or registered any trademarks. So a lot of people seek to
right?
cash in on that reputation and fame and make fake lodges.
They
So going
they
through,
even do it with our yeah. They even do it with our trademark
yeah, they
material,
do it with our stuff.
and
So there is value in going to a Grand Lodge website, either Prince Hall or otherwise, and asking and most of them have lists of their lodges and find
well,
a local lodge.
The Grand Lodge of Texas, you can actually submit to them, and then they will find a lodge that they think will contact you back that's closest to you. If they don't have a very active lodge that seems like it's dying off,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to refer people to them. They're gonna give it to the people that are gonna take that mason and take them from man to mason.
Yeah,
And so
I like
if
that. I like that transition you used.
yeah, so if you're really interested, like in Texas, if you go to the Grand Lodge of Texas AF and AM website, then you can submit your information and they'll find the closest lodge, and you can follow up that way and everything. So
Yeah,
I totally agree that that's the best way to go to find Find the Grand Lodge, and then you'll find your lodge.
He also just asked, what's the difference between Scottish Rite and York Rite? And I would just say, first and foremost, the uh, the first 3 degrees that you get in Freemasonry are York Rite. There's
In
only
Texas. In Texas.
where else where in the United States otherwise aside from a handful of states, a handful of lodges would you get not York Rite degrees?
That's what I'm saying. In a couple of other states, you can get the Scottish Rite first 3 degrees.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Just FYI, I was about
Yeah,
to,
but you didn't. I said it.
but yeah, because you interrupted me. But anyway, yes, he's correct.
Had to be said.
There are.
Had to
I
be
was
said.
literally going to say it. There's a handful of other lodges, mainly what did we say? It was Louisiana, um, one opening in California, and there's another one somewhere. Do you remember?
Um, Oklahoma, I believe.
Maybe, but there's very few. But there are some where you get the Scottish Rite initial degrees. But
Yeah,
99.9% of lodges, um, they're going to be York Rite.
and
And the reason
and
I
90% of the foreign lodges are Scottish.
yeah, well, he's in Pennsylvania.
Just saying.
He's in Pennsylvania. But the reason I say
You're
that
York Rite.
is don't worry too much about the difference at this point if you're thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam says, oh yeah, New York. That's what it was. Adam Olivier. I am going to go ahead and post a link to the Pennsylvania Grand Lodge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let me see if I can find the Pennsylvania Prince Hall Grand Lodge too.
He's right though, friend. Most times it's all York Rite, but even then, it doesn't even really matter because the principles that you're going to be learning are the same in either degree. One's just a little more intense than the other, and and either way, you're not going to learn it in the very short time that you go through that degree. The learning comes after. So just dig in after. Make sure you commit yourself to digging in after, because that's Freemasonry. There's so many people that really don't know. Um, it's so
Yeah.
it's so funny. You know how you have that crazy guys. You just don't know. You're not high enough up yet.
Oh man, I deal with it. I'm I'm
I
I'm, I'm
love
active
it.
on TikTok now, so I deal with it hourly.
Right. Well, I love that because in truth, there are so many Masons that don't know what they're a part of,
Mm-hmm.
and those jokers are right that there are so many that don't know what they're a part of, but there are a lot of us that do know what we're a part of, and we're very proud to be a part of it.
So I've shared the links for the Prince Hall Grand Lodge and the quote unquote mainstream Grand Lodge in Pennsylvania. Okay.
The AF and M,
Yeah.
or is it AF and AM?
I don't remember. But
It's usually one or the other per grand jurisdiction. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Of the free, yeah, F F.
F and AM.
Yep. There it is. F and AM. Yeah. But my point is, so regardless of your flavor, like they're both Freemasonry. I will say this: Texas, you can join Prince Hall and we have recognition with each other, right? A lot of lodges don't have that. I don't know if Pennsylvania has that, right? So just be mindful of that. Yeah, do some research.
Yeah.
Be mindful of that. I would recommend visiting some lodges before you turn in a petition anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gromsko.
You're gonna have to go through that anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Ask, what are the benefits of joining? And then in another comment, will I become a billionaire world leader if I join? Well,
Nope.
I mean, you see Dennis and I, and we're not billionaires yet, not world leaders yet. So
millionaires, but not billionaires.
So the answer to that is no. And if you join,
all because of Freemasonry.
And if you're joining for that reason, then just don't bother, because you're gonna be disappointed, and we wouldn't let you come. We wouldn't let you join if we thought that's what you're doing anyway.
Any successes that we've had in life were from us and not from the fraternity.
Yeah.
I can assure you. In
O'Neill,
fact, we're helping to turn around some thought patterns in our fraternity back to back to where we once belonged. Go ahead.
uh, K. Petway Downing says, as Brother Pike, this is on Facebook, as Brother Pike says, no higher degrees, only advanced degrees. I like that. I haven't heard it worded that way, but I like that. No higher degrees,
Yeah,
just more advanced degrees.
right. Well, and I truly believe that the Scottish Rite is the University of Freemasonry. You know, I think it paralyzed parallels with York Rite. The York Rite journey, uh, man, it's an awesome journey. It really is. And the Scottish Rite parallels with it, but then adds just just a little bit more flavor that I really enjoy. But I love both. I love both because they're both full of symbolism, full of, you know, brotherly love and affection. You just gotta know how to dig it up and find it.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get our our Zoom meetings going with our San Antonio York Rite, um, I'll make sure and put the links down there whenever we're going to do it, so that or I'll let Justin or ask Justin to do it, and then that way we can let any of our York Rite brothers, if you can prove to me you're York Rite, then you can join in with us and join in on those discussions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get in on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
O'Neill,
the same way our Scottish Rite is too. In fact, we're opening up the current Scottish Rite because we're doing Manly P Hall. We're opening that one up to even Blue Lodge Masons. If anybody wants to join in on it, just let me know. And you got to send me a message, not Masonic Improvement, and then that way I can forward it to the people in the Scottish Rite that send out the emails to connect to the Zoom. But if you
well,
can prove that you're
what are y'all reading right now? Is it Manly P. Hall?
um yeah, it's the
Same book?
let me go yeah, let me go grab my book. I'll be right back.
Secret. Oh, come
No,
on, I got a stack of pages over here. Secret Teachings of All Ages?
yes. And I like your book, sure, but I like mine better.
Well,
It has a better cover,
I mean, I get
and
that you're,
it's hardback.
get that you're partial.
Yeah, baby got back.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, I just took it to another level, didn't I?
Onyx Palm
That was a little
says,
wrong.
I'm all for Blue Lodge brothers seeking more light. I just don't like how the recruiting starts immediately after a brother is raised. Let him learn the Blue House first.
That well, that's fine and dandy, but if your lodge isn't giving it, then why should he stick around your lodge that's not providing that light?
Yeah.
That's our only that's our only complaint is that look, you can say that, and that's all great, fine and dandy. And I believe that there's so much that people could learn through the Blue Lodge
Hmm.
if there were enough intelligent people in the Blue Lodge to teach them.
See,
But that's the problem.
I I'm one of those guys that will reach out almost immediately after you return your master's work to look in the because you've already started the York Rite journey, right? You've already gone through the first 3 degrees of York Rite, and people have this momentum, like they're going through the degrees, they're working hard, and if you let that momentum die, it's harder to keep them involved, and it's harder to get them to look into the more advanced degrees. And so I ask, I invite. That's the beauty of York Rite is we can invite, because we're inviting people that are already Masons. So I do it. I mean, I don't push hard. I don't push hard, but I make it obvious that you started the York Rite journey. This is the continuation and the completion of your York Rite journey if you go this way. But I'm
Well,
not.
I think that it is, and I joined right after. But I didn't get much value from it. Like our brother was saying, yeah, Blue Lodge, you got to know what you're a part of before you should be joining other things. That's where Justin and I do differ because sure, you can if you ask me about it, I'll give you a petition and I'll help you in every way I can to follow that journey. But at the same time, I'm going to be asking you other questions about what you understand your first 3 degrees to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that guy that just is just gonna, pass out petitions to everybody, because I want to know that you have the same mindset that I have before I give you a petition. Because just because you're a Master Mason doesn't mean that you have the same desire for all the light that Freemasonry can offer.
Well, frankly, that's another benefit of your crap. Like I said, we can invite people out. Often, Blue Lodges don't properly investigate very well, so you don't really get to know a person. But by the time he's turning his master's work, you got a pretty good idea of the type of person you're dealing with, right? So if you're a very esoterically minded chapter in council, and this guy just wants to sling pancakes, he's probably not going to get value out of what you're offering, right?
Right. You need to send him over to the shrine.
Yeah.
Or he can just stay in Blue Lodge and do pancakes.
Yeah. Oxypalm says, I only say that. He's the one that said, not really in favor of directing people after their masters. But he says, I only said
that.
Oxypalms. Onyx palms.
Okay.
Not Oxy. Onyx palms. I'm sorry. But I only say that because most don't understand the obligations that they've already just took. It took me about 30 to 40 days just to soak up what the obligation truly. Man, I know people that 10 plus years and they still don't really understand.
To this day, don't know. Yeah.
To this day. Yeah.
I know people in very high up positions that don't understand those obligations very well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What are you going to do?
I'm just looking here. Chat's been quiet.
Fight the power.
Chat's been quiet. Did you see that post? I don't even know if I even want to open this can of worms, but I'm a glutton for punishment. Did you see that post on our usual Facebook group about California? And it turns out it's kind of getting misconstrued, but it's still an interesting conversation about.
Isn't that how everything happens?
Yeah. But it was about recognizing female Freemasons.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with it.
No.
I don't. There was a time when I did, but I don't think that. I think that I'm at a point in my journey that now I see so much ignorance out there that if I see women that are more intelligent than what I'm dealing with, I would much rather have them in the lodge with me.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I don't. First and foremost, I took an obligation, right? And so, I mean, sure, we could say first and foremost, we could say we recognize it. That's one thing. But I can't make a female Mason. I just can't. I mean, I can't go back and do an addendum to my obligation, right? But here's really my thing. And this is really where my hesitation comes from. I think it is, not only is it good, but I think it's healthy for men to have a place where they can go and just be men with other men, right?
Right. I agree.
You take a group of men and introduce women, and
it becomes a dick swinging match.
Well, the demeanor always changes. The chemistry in the room always changes. And yeah, I mean, you could.
You guys knew exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, and so I think
he didn't want to admit to it.
I think it's healthy for men to have a place where they could just go hang out with men. The dynamic changes. Yeah, that's the way of putting it.
Well, I think that's true. I think that's true, and I love what we have.
Yeah.
But I'm serious that I don't have a problem with. I think that they should start their own as their own, that a man doesn't have to be a part of. Like the Order of the Eastern Star, a man has to be over them for them to have their charter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How demeaning is that to women? Why do you think my strong-minded, hearted wife, intelligent wife, doesn't want to join the Eastern Star? Because she doesn't want to join
an organization.
Well, because she doesn't want to join something that number one cannot exist without a man, and number two, it it's not Freemasonry. It's just
I'm,
not.
I mean, and we said this before. I think Freemasonry in some way stems from the ancient mystery schools, right?
Yes, it
And
does. It absolutely does.
absolutely they allowed women into the mystery schools. Absolutely.
Yes,
And
yes,
I don't
and that's why I feel that way.
I don't I don't have it. I don't necessarily have an issue with women in the fraternity. I mean, really, I don't. But at the end of the day, and I think this is probably my biggest hang up more than anything. It'd be done just for the sake of today's modern world, quote unquote, right? When
Right.
really, if you look at men, especially here in the United States, you just look in a context like men are in kind of a bad spot emotionally. Like suicide's really high with men, depression's really high with men, and I think giving them an outlet where they can just be men with other men is extremely healthy. And
Right.
I think Freemasonry is one of those few bastions in the world where men can go through rites of passage with other men and bond with other men and make real lasting friendships that frankly many of them probably didn't have since they were in the military or something.
I agree. I agree.
Now if there was a separate organization, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I don't really necessarily have a problem with the recognition, but I think some kind of I don't know.
I would.
You can
I think.
say you want some kind of separation, but then you sound like 1940s, right? Like 1950s. You want some kind of so it's.
Right.
I don't think like I agree with what you say. Like if we want to go make their own organization, and it's not dependent on men, but it could be women only, or it could be cross gender or whatever. That's cool. That's fine. I mean I might even look at it right if it's something that you could do as a Mason, but um, just bringing them in for the sake of bringing them in to the fraternity as it exists now. Uh, I'm not a fan of that.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree. That's why I think that I think that they should be allowed to have their own fraternity, do their own thing.
Would be a
It's your thing.
yeah.
Do what you want to do.
So we got a few comments.
You guys like that, don't
No one's commenting on that.
you?
Yeah, but
I'm surprised.
Onyx Palm says yeah. Basically, once you let women in, the dynamic changes. Um, Matt Mott says the biology kicks in if it's blended, and
Right.
O'Neill says everything changes. I mean, yeah, I mean this it's true. It's all true. They can make their own groups. They have them already. Absolutely. Devin McLean says true, and he's one of our members. True. The men only aspect is one of the main points that attracted me to masonry. As a young person, the equality cry gets too manipulative for use of agendas. You know, really, that's what attracted me too. I had just got out of the military, and I wanted a place to hang out with other guys, and that's what Freemasonry had to offer. And I mean, it went so far past that, right? But initially, I was just looking for something I could be involved with.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Uh,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, uh, couldn't imagine sitting in lodge with my wife. Yeah, and I mean,
You couldn't imagine sitting in the lodge with me.
yeah,
You think that's bad? Yeah, you ought to sit in lodge with me, buddy. You know that. Speaking of sitting in lodge with me, so something that's very interesting to me that perturbed the heck out of me um, in moving my membership to San Antonio. You know, I had these these past commanders that were very respected um, members in their area, and also right worshipables, current right worshipables. They were my top liners, you know, on my transfer in, vouching for me and my quality of character, right? But then it was shot down because they didn't personally sit with me in a commandery meeting. Though I had my proof that I am a upstanding member, that I pay my dues, that I am who I say I am, I come from where I say I come from, all these different things. And yet one person said, but how can you recommend them if you didn't sit in a commandery lodge with them?
Yeah.
You got your proof from my commandery, from the secretary saying with a seal saying that I am in fact a member, and these other guys are saying, and we believe he's a member of good character, and so we want him to be a part of our thing. But because I hadn't sat in commandery with them, my my election to be in um, accepted into that commandery was withdrawn. Or actually, it wasn't withdrawn; it was actually voted on and approved.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody after the fact said, "Well, that can't be that's not right because you never sat in commandery with him." And because people don't want to argue with this one person, um, looks like I'm not. Which they're very lucky that I'm persistent and I'm just dog headed sometimes,
Yeah.
because otherwise I'd walk down the street to the other commandery that's been begging me to become a member over there and help them um, do a lot of the things that I'm talking about doing with this commandery.
Well, now it's just a matter of making a point. So Kay Petway Downing over on Facebook, we're talking about women in the lodge, and he says it actually changes, and I don't know anything about this chemical. Actually changes the amount of androstenedione 16 the male body emits when women are present. He's a biochemist. That's how he knows that. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that is very cool.
Man, I love knowing smart people. It's so cool. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. So we have.
You just elevated this program by that much.
Yeah, yeah. It just
every little bit.
Also, RTZW says hello from Arkansas. I joined my lodge a year ago, and there are no activities there are no activities beyond a meal before the stated meeting. Often there is no Masonic education. Any tips to get the ball rolling? And then he says a few comments later, I'm from Mountain Home Lodge 225. First of all, I just want to say I have been to Mountain Home as a child in Arkansas. My grandparents used to live there. So very cool part of Arkansas. But Dennis, do you maybe have any thoughts on that? It's not something we discuss a whole lot, so I understand if you kind of
well, if you the only thing that you can do is start spreading the vision. And so here's, if you want anything to be successful in your lodge, the very first thing you do is you go to your mentor Masons, the older generation, the ones that are pretty much making the rules at this point, right? And they earned it. They spent a lot of time developing that position for themselves, so that's fine. But you need to, if you have a good friendship and some of those older Masons know your heart and know what you're looking for is not to downplay what they've done for so long, but to add in addition to, get their buy-in. The best thing you can do for any project in your lodge is to get the buy-in of as many members as possible. But it always starts with your older members. And you get their buy-in, and when they become your cheerleader, then nothing will fail. And then it all is of starting to implement things. And then it becomes, well, you want to do an education night, do one a month and do it on via Zoom or in lodge in person, whichever they feel your lodge feels is more appropriate, and do it. Just do it. Do it an hour before your stated meeting or whatever. So it's or an hour before your the meal starts for your stated meeting. So anybody who wants to do this can come an hour before and hang out and do a discussion on a book, and then go to lodge afterwards and really appreciate everything else as well.
Yeah.
Or do it right after. If your lodge is efficient with their time, it shouldn't take more than 45 minutes to an hour anyways to have lodge. So you're over at 8:30 if it starts at 7:30. At 8:30 is still, you see how late all of us are up right now. 8:30 you can still kick in a good hour and a half of good contemplation in your lodge with a get together after. Just get a common book in everybody's hand.
Yeah.
And I would recommend starting off with one of my mentors, Bradley Kohenke's book. Oh my gosh! And here I just brain freeze.
You're on a roll too, and you just dropped it.
I know. I'm the worst.
Is that the pontification one, or is
no?
That
the pontification one is
Chris Williams? Am I getting them mixed
Deacons.
up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's Chris Williams' book. Brad's is the light. Hold on just a second. You get it. Yeah. We had it on our program just not too long ago. As a matter of fact, if you want to go back to that reference of the books, it's called Light Reflections, is what it's called, by brother Bradley E. Kohenke. And if you make a big enough contribution to our show, then I'll tell you what his middle name is. Just kidding.
Robin.
Eduardo. It's Bradley Eduardo. He is Texan. No, just kidding.
What's the name of that book now?
Light Reflections. Let me. I do not want to show you my filthy house.
I'm gonna post a link.
Okay. Here it is. See here? I gotta hold it in front of myself.
Light Reflections, Philosophical Thoughts and Observations of a Texas Freemason.
Yes.
Bye.
And you can get it, on Amazon. Click our link, and it'll take you right to it on Amazon, and you can purchase it there.
Yep.
But it's good if you click on our link, because then it shows that you were listening to us when you did it. We don't get a kickback from that or anything like that. I know Brad personally. I would never ask for that. But this is a good short story type book, like a 10-minute read. You can read it right there at the conversation and then have the conversation right there. So it's that kind of a book.
Yeah.
And that's what I would start. I would start with books like that have some good, deep thoughts to think about, but you can read it real quick and then have everybody right there and then talk about it. That's Freemasonry, man. That's Freemasonry 101. I dig it. I'm glad that you're out there trying to do that. Don't give up. Be the light in your lodge that you need your lodge to have.
I got a question for you, Dennis.
Yes, I can talk longer.
Are stated meetings meant to be business meetings or something else?
Stated meetings are meant to be business meetings.
Okay.
That's why they're called stated.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. Why do we have elaborate opening and closings for a business meeting?
Why do we have what?
Elaborate opening and closing for a business meeting.
To remind you of who you are and what you are before you start taking on your business. It's supposed to be somewhat similar to a meditative trance or whatever. When you go into meditation or whatever.
Well, why do I need to go to a meditative trance to change the light bulbs?
Because you're making those decisions with the light from above coming to you. So that's why you open every important thing with prayer and you close it with prayer, because you're seeking the guidance from above to make the best decisions for your lodge as possible.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing. It's supposed to remind you of where you are, why you're there, what you're there to do, what your work is. I
don't disagree. I was just because we were talking and I was like,
why is there such heavy Yeah,
No,
ritual. Yeah,
I'm really almost inclined, like what you're saying, like education should be probably for freedom purposes and time purposes should be separate and outside of the standing meeting.
right.
And you can say, well, you can read a short talk or something like that. I've never been blown away by short talk, and I've never read or heard anybody read a short talk bulletin that was interesting, right?
Right. Right.
But I've had people come present that were interesting, right? But then you got people that don't want a long standing meeting and they don't want to sit there listening. They just want to talk for 30, 45 minutes.
Right. Right.
So I was like,
Well,
man, I feel like the education should be like this is a standing meeting. It's a business meeting. We come here, we take care of business, we leave. But either after that or before that or a totally separate day, say, look, we're meeting here at this restaurant. We have a room reserved. This is what it cost. We brought in whoever X person to come give a presentation. We're gonna have drinks. We'll have a good meal and
well,
just
and see, I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be bringing in people outside to give presentations. I think it should be people within the group that give a presentation, and that way you have people active in being actively involved, and they know it's going to be their turn coming up one day, and so they stay more involved and educate themselves along the way in what you're doing.
I think some kind of balance is probably appropriate. Here's my thing: you can't be a hero in your own hometown. If I was a member of a lodge and I was raised there and received all my degrees, uh, my presentations just don't have like I've given presentations at my original lodge that were received lukewarm that were standing ovations at other lodges. Right? It's that same presentation, and I agree with what you're saying. Like we should encourage people to write papers and share them, but I think also having an outside opinion coming in has a lot of value
Well, and
too.
that's where the book is. That's what the book is the outside opinion, right? So if you have a book, that's the outside opinion already.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just discussing what that meant to you, how you deciphered it. And each person, it touches them in different ways because each person, um, and that's a whole nother topic that we've discussed before and we will discuss again one day, but not for this program.
Yeah.
But people learn things in different ways because of their past and how they, so they'll have different interpretations of the same thing. So that's what makes it cool. And that's where you get all the light that your lodge can bestow.
Uh,
And
and I,
guys, I don't have a drug habit. I'm literally having the stents pulled out of my nose tomorrow um for my septoplasty, and that's why I keep rubbing my nose with my.
mm-hmm. Is it itchy?
It's itchy, man.
Yeah. Adam Olivier, uh,
Oh man,
another one of our members. Uh, dude's hardcore. He's been here for just about every meeting for the last.
he has. He checked on me to see if we were gonna shoot tonight.
Oh, did
That
he?
was awesome. He did. He's in it. He's in it to win it.
Cool.
Yeah.
If standing meetings should only be business meetings, are 12 standing meetings a year too much?
No, because you have your monthly bills that need to be handled, and
Yeah, but you can vote to
yeah, I
you,
don't.
you
I
can
don't think
you can vote to have that taken care of.
it depends on what your vision for your lodge is. Really, if you were to create an core, okay, well, like you were talking about with your York Right,
Mm-hmm.
you've only have your stateds quarterly, but then every month you get together and you do practice or whatever. Damn straight. If you can change that dynamic in your life, sure, absolutely. Go to that and change it in your bylaws to where you meet quarterly instead of. But make sure you have something for people to do every month.
Yeah,
Make sure there's two or three things for people to do every month.
I mean,
That's the only way we're going to get people up there.
I think 6 meetings a month. I mean, 6 meetings a year. That's still a lot, but right. I think with quarterly, the issue is what month is it that we meet? What month is it? Is it this month? Is it next month? When was the last time we had a standing meeting, right? But if it's every other month, say like we're gonna have a standing meeting every other month, you know that either you're having a standing meeting at the lodge or you're going to go meet somewhere outside the lodge?
Well, that's the way the chapter and council meets in commandery meet in San Antonio. It's every other month is the actual meeting, but they do get together once a month as well. They eat out one night, 1 month, and then the next month is the actual meeting.
Yeah. Or even if you just have your business meeting and then afterwards you have like a book club or something. Something.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. To start it, I think that's the best way to go because you got people that are already there, and you could even add a little bit of sizzler to it during the stated meeting. You ask, to allow you to ask the worshipful master if you can get up during new business and announce the new book club and give a small reading out of it just to get their attention as to what you'll be discussing that night.
Yeah.
And then anybody who wants to stay after can stay after. But I would definitely get with your worshipful master way in advance and then put it out there way in advance so that people who are interested can get that book off of Amazon. They can study up and then you can talk it up. And if it is spur of the moment, then definitely read it while you're there at first until people get the book, and then make it a requirement to have read it before you get there or whatever. But
I'll say this because I'm
that's
thinking
awesome,
I'm
man.
thinking as you're talking, because I've been to
Uh-oh.
so many meetings where the head of a committee will stand up, if he even knows he's on the committee. He'll stand up and he'll say, "Hey, we need to do this. Does anybody have any suggestions? Does anybody have any ideas?" It's like, man, that's the whole point of a committee, is to have the suggestions and the ideas before you come. You're supposed to give
Right.
recommendations, not hold a committee meeting in a lodge
Oh,
meeting, right?
dude,
And so where I'm going with this is if maybe
it's
you
one of my
are
pet peeves.
maybe 12 meetings a year is too much if you're experiencing that kind of thing. I mean, that's the whole point of committees, is to cover that gap.
Yeah, they're supposed to meet outside a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've stated that before, and maybe we need to do a hard, listen for our
But you got some lodges
members.
that meet twice a month, like RT, the brother from Arkansas. I don't know, man. I think a lot of it depends on your lodge. Like
Right.
if you are moving and shaking, and if
If
once
you're meeting twice a month, then one meeting should be stated and one meeting should be education, in my opinion.
I think,
If you're
yeah,
meeting
I
twice
mean,
a month,
that'd be ideal. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it just depends on the lodge and what the brothers are looking for there. But the more I talk about it, the more I think like 6 meetings a year sounds pretty good, frankly. And then
yeah, right,
every other
right,
meeting is something educational. Um,
right.
Sean Rothberg says, remember
Hey,
Shmoot?
what's
I don't
up,
know what
Sean?
happened to Shmooly, but we got Sean Rothberg now. Says, I think 6 meetings is perfect. It's the Goldilocks perfection. It's Goldilocks perfection. I guess not too hot, not too cold.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I personally, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but if you told me a minute ago that all your lodge does is have a meal and then a meeting and everybody goes home, if you're doing that twice a month, you definitely need to revisit your bylaws. Like if you're meeting just to eat and have a quick meeting and go home, you're wasting everybody's time. You're not being respectful of one another's time. You're not being
Right,
productive. Especially if you can accomplish it. If you can accomplish it in one meeting, don't have more meetings than you have to. Frankly, if you can accomplish a
right.
month worth of business in one meeting, do that. If you can do it
And
in
if you
every other month,
can't for a lodge, if you can't for a lodge, then you need to relook at what you're doing in your lodge, anyways.
yeah. Now, yeah, like Onyx Palm says, one stated and one for work and instruction. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something different, by all means, it's fine. But I mean, I'm just talking about like straight up stated meetings. If you're doing 2 a month, wow, that's, and I've heard of lodges doing it, and it's just like,
Yeah, there's a lot of lodges out there that still have that.
yeah.
And what's sad is that it's the same people anyways. Like, yeah, once
But I mean,
again.
if you say, look, we're going to meet twice a month, and this is the day for, like, if there's a degree, that's when we have it. If this is coming in, this is when we do it. Otherwise, we're meeting and practicing and having some kind of education. Yeah, that's fine. I
Right.
get that, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I think it depends on the lodge and what you have going on, and the culture of your jurisdiction and your.
Well, and I also think that if it's not happening in your lodge, then get the support of your brothers and start it. Don't let anybody tell you what your Freemasonry should or shouldn't be. And if your lodge is that against it, then man, I'm sorry. Um, I can't really say anything much more about that.
Sean says
We're pretty fortunate.
Justin is dropping truth bombs. That's what I like to do, man. That's how I roll.
You know
So,
what? Justin. It's always about Justin.
Kelly Cox, you should be up to the worship master. Yeah, I agree. Well, within, I mean, you gotta follow the bylaws, right? So the bylaws says you meet twice a month. Until you change your bylaws, you need to meet twice a month, right? But yeah, I mean,
You have to.
yeah,
If you don't, you get your charter pulled. So don't go do anything stupid based on what we've said.
yeah. No, I know definitely. If you're thinking about meeting less or more, you need to go through the
Yes.
right what's
You have
the
to
right
get
protocol.
dispensation.
Yeah.
Yes. Then
Uh,
it's a grandmaster's decision, not a master's decision.
uh, RTZW says for the last few months we've been meeting every Wednesday to learn degree work, and that's great.
Nice.
That's
That's what
good.
we do. I totally understand and recommend that.
Yeah.
We meet every Wednesday for floor school, hands down. And it makes a stronger lodge when you do that. So now we need to add that education portion.
Hmm.
So yeah, totally.
Yeah, I agree, and it's all important. And like I was talking to some brothers from one of my lodges, and it's not a healthy lodge. Like it's not healthy. Like I just recently joined back, and it's not healthy. And and
I would say it's not healthy for you to do that.
everybody gets there, and they just kind of fart around. Like they're real hesitant to actually start practice, and then they practice, and then they leave. They're gone. They're done. It's like, man, it's just like no one really wants to be here. And I think back to, and granted, rose-colored glasses always, right? But I think back to when I was younger and learning my degrees. Like we had a lot of great guys, great boomers that that were like they could tell you anything off the top of their head, right? And we would practice, and then afterwards we play dominoes, right? And you don't know an old guy until you play a game of dominoes with them. I'm just telling you right now. But people came and they stuck around and they had a good time, right? And it was incentive to come practice because it was something we were doing after. It's like you gotta you. My point is you gotta enjoy what you're doing, right? And when it's obvious that people are coming, they're not enjoying it. The only thing they're looking forward to is going home. Then I mean that's why people stop coming. That's why they stop coming to start with because it's dying at that point. Sean Rothberg says, I'm working on conferring my friend's upcoming degrees, so I need practice on being worshipful measure sometime in January. Once we vote him, once we vote on him Tuesday, and a few members to come assist me and others, it'll possibly be a degree team of everyone under 40. You can do it. You can do it, Sean. Sean, what is your lodge? I wouldn't mind. I can't make promises, but I wouldn't mind popping in.
He's in Richardson 1214. There's a lot of cool brothers there.
Hold on. Let me.
Isn't Stewart there?
Huh?
Isn't Cody Stewart in Richardson 1214? Sean, I'm asking you. I think he is. I love Cody. He's a good man.
Let's see. I'm actually pulling it up on Google Maps before I promise anything. Google Maps. How far is that from me? Richardson.
It's right on the north side of Richardson's right on the north side of 635
Hold on.
off of 75.
Richardson Masonic Lodge. What was the number?
1214.
Let's do that. Richardson Masonic Lodge on Lockwood Drive. Let's look here. How far is this? I don't think I've been there.
What?
I don't think I've been there. Come on, zoom
You
out.
got to be kidding me.
Why?
Anybody who's anybody has always been there.
Oh,
They've always been
please.
there.
Oh,
They
please.
go there. They come there. They go there.
That's on the other side of Dallas, man. Let's see. Let me just see how long that would take.
I promise you, it's well worth the wait. Well worth the wait.
I think you're full of poop.
I am. Take I-20 over to 75 and go north.
Oh, that's only an hour from here.
Yeah, man.
It's Richardson.
Richardson is such a cool community. And what's crazy is that it has become quite a big Muslim community. And you see these mosques all over the place and these McMansions where they're building these McMansions and 3 or 4 families live in these McMansions. They've really done a lot to bring up the property values in Richardson, that's for sure. And that's where all the tech jobs in Dallas are also. Well, a lot of them.
I'll tell you what, Sean, if you let me know when y'all set a date, I'll try to be there because I would like to visit that.
Very cool.
Of course, I'll probably bring the average age up because I'm almost 40, but hopefully I'll still be accepted.
He'll bring up the average age and bring down the.
If you want your degree team young, I don't have to do any degree work. I'll just come watch. How about that? Well, we'll see. I would like to. I haven't been traveling much lately, so it'd be nice to get back out and visit around some more. Onyx Palms. There's an old saying my father has. It's better to have 10 good dimes than 100 pennies. Quality over quantity is imperative, and that's my goal in the upcoming year. If I sit in the East, I love it. I love it. That's something we've been preaching for quite
Absolutely.
a while. Yeah.
And just as a tip to you, Sean, when you're practicing, don't just practice your part. Every part. Do it as the master and be everybody as you practice.
Just a real tip for you, Sean. Anything Dennis tells you, just smile and nod your head and never do it. Just disregard it.
I'm going to tell you.
Politely disregard it.
If this guy can do it, you can do it. And it did not require the help of that guy.
Did not require what?
The help of that guy.
That guy?
Yeah, if you're on that side of... you never know which side you're going to be on the screen, right?
I'm always on the right side.
But that's what I did when I became worshipful master. That's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be able to confer whatever degrees as my part, right? And in all the seats I tried to do that, but I wasn't very successful at it with a couple of years. But
who's the Grand Orator?
I agree.
Right, do you know who it is?
Chris Livingston.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sean says
he does a real good job.
Sean says we got the Grand Orator in my lodge. Yeah, Chris is a good guy. Well, I mean, dang, if I'm going to Dallas, I should just wait and go to Hillcrest. Well, what am I even thinking? Just go to Hillcrest.
What an ass. you know, Sean, you need to photobomb him. You need to make a good... This is...
Red Raider says...
This is what the head of my looks like.
Red Raider says, I used to be in the 40 and under crowd. Unfortunately, I'm now in the 40 and over crowd. But yes, the young degree team is exciting to see. Onyx Palm says, facts, practice every part. You never know when your lodge travels and you're asked to sit in a seat. Kelly Cox says, are y'all going to Grand Lodge? What to expect for first timers? Man, if you're going for the entirety of Grand Lodge, first of all, be sure you pre-register. If you didn't, they'll save you a lot of hassle when you get in.
And it's online and it's open now at the Grand Lodge, Texas.
Yep. Get there early so you can be sure you got good parking. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for parking. There is some food within walking distance. There's usually food served downstairs in the lobby. Last year we had uh,
Smoked rat.
smoked rat. Yep, that's what I was gonna say. But
Yeah, roadkill. It was
yeah,
roadkill.
but I'll say plan to be out late because the best part of Grand Lodge occurs when the session closes for the day, because that's when we
It's the
all go to
bonding.
Southern
Yes,
Roots or the backyard. And
the backyard is a must. You got to go if you haven't gone yet. It's a must. And there's usually a turtle degree right before the backyard really kicks off. So, well, it kicks off, but it's done in parallel. So, if you get a chance, do it to it, man.
yeah,
It's a fun time.
it's a great time. It's well worth it. It's well worth it. You get to see a lot of great guys that you don't normally see, just because Texas is so big, right? But yeah, it's well worth it. Um, RTZW, I'll be 25 Friday. I think I have a responsibility to carry on the torch. I have some friends that are interested in joining the lodge, and I want the experience to provide as much value as possible. Kelly, I really want to go to the Grand Lodge, and RTZW is the brother from Arkansas, by the way. Kelly, I really want to go
Okay.
to Grand Lodge for the first time. I've been to the building once when I did a Scottish Rite. When do you guys have? I, Onyx asked when you guys have Grand Session. I don't know if he's asking RTZW or us. Ours is in January. Our
It's
Blue
always the
Lodge.
third weekend of January.
Yeah, well, not always. It is now.
Yeah.
Wasn't always,
Okay.
but yeah. Yeah, I was curious when Arkansas has their Grand Session. Not that I head to Arkansas a whole lot, but I'd like to travel and go to some other Grand Sessions. You ever been to another Grand Lodge, Dennis?
It starts on Thursday. I'm
No, no,
going
no.
to,
Have you
I
been
think,
to another Grand Lodge?
not an annual session. No, I've visited other Grand Lodges, but not in annual sessions.
So you didn't just go tell them who you were; they didn't chin.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, no, no. It just wasn't during their annual communication. So I just visited, and they came and let me in, and we browsed the place and checked it out.
Yeah. Uh, Kay Petway Downing over Facebook says, "Keep in mind there was a degree team for Shaquille O'Neal. Man, I would have really liked to have been at that master's degree. Just
Dude,
saying.
I was on the receiving end of a guy that big one time,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was tough. That was tough. Talk about, that was the first time I actually participated in a degree in Washington. And they said, "Well, we need a couple more helpers. Will you help?" It's like, sure, I'd be happy to. Until I saw the guys, like, oh
that's what
gosh,
they. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I will say this like I've seen lots of not just Masonic outside of Masonic context. I've seen lots of videos with Shaq, and he is like one of the just one of the best human beings. Just seeing how
Right,
he interacts with
right,
people, especially people that don't really have
yes,
anything that they can offer to him. Um,
right,
just a good person. But
yeah. I agree.
I've also seen that ring, which is probably about the size that his Masonic ring, probably the size of most people's
Yeah,
belt buckle. I mean, it's massive.
right.
Let's see. Okay. Onyx Palms, where are you located? It says, "Oh well, we have session in July and we go dark for that month." I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure what jurisdiction he's in. Um, Red Raider, we've been asked to help with a degree for a 6'8" guy that was asking 450 pounds. It was a workout. Yeah, I can imagine.
That's awesome.
I
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that pick.
Sean says y'all going. Are y'all plotting over there? You and Sean plotting?
Of course.
Sean's been very quiet, so he's asking if we're going to the Midnight Lodge. I guess the one in Hillcrest. I'm gonna try very hard.
It's not so easy for me. I wish I could. But
Yeah, I'm actually been talking with Jeff Bennett about hopefully some accommodations. So, um,
what when is that exactly?
I can't even tell you, man. I have to look.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't remember right off the top of my head.
Onyx Palms is in Washington State, the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Washington in jurisdictions. I don't know what that last part is. In jurisdictions. But yeah.
Do what?
Oh, I asked Onyx Palms what jurisdictions he's in, where he's located.
And
He's in Washington State. He's
didn't.
Prince Hall, Washington State.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Washington State. That's awesome. My grandfather was a pipe one of the pipeline guys, the Alaskan pipeline guys, and he was a member of some lodges up there as well as a shrine up there. Very cool.
The midnight degree or lodge is December 20th. December 20th.
December 20th.
The problem. Gosh.
Yeah, it's so hard in December.
Well,
Here's so many
here's
things.
a problem. The 20th. So that's going to be a Tuesday. The 21st is my last day before Christmas break. So it's a half day at my school I teach at. So how I just can't make that happen. Because I'll be getting home like 1:30 and then waking up and going to work. Yeah, I don't think I hate that. I can't make that happen though.
Yeah,
I didn't look at that.
We can only do what we do.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sean says to check my Facebook Messenger. What's he? Oh no, we'll see what he did.
So Grand Lodge, while he's doing that, Grand Lodge is very cool. And if you're going to take it in, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance at the beginning, but it's really cool to see it. And because you don't really get a lot of that throughout your regular lodge functions. It's kind of like it's kind of like a traditional lodge, right? So everybody comes out at their specific time. The Tyler's walking in with the sword, and you've got the commandery with their it's called a bridge, isn't it? The
iron bridge. Right. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, and that's to walk under, and it's the formality of it all. It's really cool to see that stuff. It does get a little bit tiresome though, watching a lot of the people, of all the different organizations talk about their organizations or whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, how are you going to know about these things if you're not listening and being a part of it? But so I go and I watch the whole thing. I'm there from beginning to end, and I'm talking about Sunday too. And everybody else is left. I'm there on Sunday to pick up whatever.
You were in the parking lot the whole time last time.
Man, it sucked.
Man, I spent most of mine in the lobby. Like I enjoy the resolutions and all that stuff, but the opening and all that, like, man, I'd rather be talking with people. James Kirkpatrick hopped on. He said, "Sorry, I'm late. I was watching the Cowboys game and post game stuff." Welcome, James.
Don't say anything, James. Okay, good, thank you.
He said the Cowboys lost. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. I know the Cowboys, so that's why I'm making a prediction.
They probably didn't lose because it's not a Super Bowl game. It's not a. It's not a. We're not in the playoffs yet, so. Yeah. We got to wait till that first game of the playoffs, then lose it all.
Onyx Palm says, "Not gonna lie, outside of actual session, it's a great place to network. As a home inspector, I work hand in hand with many brothers that are involved in real estate and commercial development. I mean, I'll be frank with you. Until recently, I was doing financial. I was a financial planner, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great opportunity to. Not that I went there for that, but if I enjoy shaking hands and talking with people, it's just mutually beneficial. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to network. Not that I recommend anybody doing it.
I always talk some kind of business when I'm at Grand Lodge or anywhere because I want to be able to write it off.
Yeah, there you go too. There you go too.
Cha-ching. Speaking of business, my shirts in the back that I sell, 2 of them.
That's a big shirt. Looks like a flag almost.
It's for
That's
Texas.
the past
We got some big boys in
that's
Texas.
past master size shirt.
We got cornbread, cornbread fed past masters in our grand jurisdiction.
RTZW says I can't find the Grand Lodge meeting on the Arkansas Grand Lodge calendar. It's a mystery. I went there for the 100-year Cornerstone reenactment, and it was awesome. I
It
don't know.
seems like they meet in June, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun just to go and visit some of the
Yeah,
grand sessions.
absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of the Grand Lodge sessions are different from what we're used to because we have a building, whereas a lot of them don't. They just meet in a hotel or whatever.
Yeah. Well, a lot of brothers here in Texas would have it that way if they had to vote with their wallet,
Right?
which would be
Yeah.
really sad.
Right. Yeah. If some of those people that we were talking about earlier that just show up and do charitable work, if they weren't around back then, we wouldn't have a Grand Lodge.
Yeah, James,
We wouldn't have a Scottish Rite. We wouldn't have a Shrine
I'm glad you're here.
Hospital.
You missed some good York Rite talk earlier, but I'm glad you're here
Yeah,
now.
you did, James.
We had the whole York Rite spiel and everything.
Yeah. Now you're just gonna have to watch us again.
Dennis, did you say you're going to a Grand Chapter Council?
Um, I don't know. That's this weekend,
It's this week. Well, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
right?
I won't be there till Saturday.
No,
Doesn't sound like you plan for it.
no. We have our Briscoe workshop this weekend.
Oh, you do an actual
The
thing.
Leonard the Leonard P. Harvey Briscoe workshop. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you haven't gotten yours, the if your district hasn't received theirs, just to let y'all know, it was sent out to all the district deputy grand masters this past week in PDF form. So you can go and order the material online with Grand Lodge, or you can get the PDF from your DDGM for whoever's going to be for your district education officer. He can give that to the district education officer um, to put into effect for your program. It needs to happen before Grand Lodge
Yeah.
for sure. And we worked hard on it this year. We changed it up, so it's everything's completely different from what it's been in the past. So
Yeah.
it's another good one.
Are you going to be writing anything for it next year, Dennis?
Probably not.
Why not? Okay.
Probably not. I wrote a lot this year. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Onyx Palms. I guess so. The Washington Grand Lodge, Prince Hall Grand Lodge, changes venues every year, but they have brothers travel from all over the place for it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like Texas, we used to do that a long time ago, right? We would meet in Houston sometimes, and we meet in Dallas sometimes, and then we eventually built our first Grand Lodge building in Houston, and now we meet in Waco. I think we tried it. My personal opinion, we tried it. We found something that works well for us. I think Waco is not convenient for everybody, right? But I don't think there's anywhere central to everybody that would be convenient.
Yeah, that's central to the state, so why not?
It's central to most of the state. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see why there would be an issue with it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad they had that.
I mean, I'm sure you hate it if you're in El Paso, Mason. But
right, it's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah, it's $1,000 ching for anybody in El Paso to come.
If you build something central to Texas
or Laredo,
yeah. I mean, if you built something that was as equidistant as possible in Texas, it'd be in the middle of nowhere, and you have no amenities or anything. So, I mean, Waco works.
Yep. And it's beautiful.
Waco?
Yes.
It's got a charm to it. I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's got a charm to it.
Well, no, I mean the Grand Lodge.
Oh, the Grand Lodge. Yeah. Well, I mean, Waco's nice. I wouldn't say otherwise because I don't want Robert Marshall coming after me. But it's got a charm to it. We'll say that. That. No, I like Waco. I used to live a lot closer to it. I travel there a lot. And, I mean, it's got its quirks, but it's a nice town. It's got some nice lodges. It's got a nice college. Got a Grand Lodge, and Grand Lodge is beautiful. It's a beautiful building. So, I mean, no hate there. I wonder when the Prince Hall in Texas meets. We should go to that one year, Dennis.
Yeah, that would be cool. Let's do it this next year.
Let me look.
Yeah, look at that and find out.
Texas Prince Hall. I wonder when they meet because they have a building. They don't travel.
Right.
I assume they meet in their building. Um, Let me look here. I'm just curious now. Events is a
Well, while he's looking, I'll let people know that there's an event expo that's going to happen during the uh, Grand Lodge in Texas this year, and I'll have my stuff over there at the event expo. Um, we'll have Dave back on soon to talk about it so that people will know what to expect, how to get there, and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, I'm thinking that my wife will probably be there. Excuse me, most of the time, um, so people can pick up their cases and get some swag and stuff that, and all of our Masonic improvement movement gear is going to be there, and
you.
so it'll be a centralized location for people to go pick stuff up instead of me being out in the parking lot.
Well, they don't got much on their calendar, so I don't know. We'll have to look more later. I don't want to spend the whole time browsing their website. I think that'd be fun though.
Right. Absolutely. And we do know a couple of them. We ought to get one of those brothers on the show. I've reached out to one of them prior, but I don't think that he really wanted to um, come on at the time because he was going through the Grand Line, and so maybe we'll wait for him until after. Um, but anyways, yeah,
So
I think that would be cool to talk about.
RTZW, the Arkansas Grand Lodge, is at the Albert Pike Memorial Center. It's huge, and it's the size of a city block in Little Rock. And we need to start going to more Grand Lodges. I think we need to be like one year we
Yeah,
just need to make it a goal. Like, hey, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas,
right,
Louisiana, and
right,
whatever state's close to Mexico. Say like we
right.
need to make it a point to visit these. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
Onyx Palms. How do you guys feel about Grand Lodge just selling property off? Selling off the old retirement. Again, this is from Washington perspective. They're selling off the old retirement home on the bay this year, and it's disheartening. I don't know. I think a lot of things that a lot of Grand Lodges built were when we were at this artificial peak, and so we had really high numbers of people, and we could afford. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? We could afford things that were just decadent, I guess, that we didn't really need.
Right. Well, and the sad thing is that the the there aren't any people that want to take advantage of the opportunities available because they're thinking that the funds from their house are going to be better spent by their family members than Grand Lodge. Because Grand Lodge, you give up your estate to them so that it helps pay for your bills, of course. But nobody wants to do that. They don't want to give up their estate to live comfortably in a nice facility. And so,
Yeah.
but back but back in the day, there were people who were willing to do it. I had somebody, I had a very influential person that I knew that was a Mason that passed away, and his family was so greedy towards the money. They let their mom shrivel up in a trailer home instead of letting her enjoy the what the Freemasons could offer her
Mm, yeah.
because they wanted to keep that money.
I think you
They
got
were they were millionaires for a short time.
I think you got a lot of buildings that were built and they were very large, and the
Yep.
upkeep is too more expensive than most Grand Lodges can afford now.
Yep.
The maintenance is likewise too expensive, and to bring them up the code and getting them where they need to be, um, it's just probably not feasible for most Grand Lodges.
What's funny though is that we all have our heartstrings, right? And we're like, oh no, we hate to see it go. And yeah, I hate to see any of those things go. But at the same time, who's paying for it? I know that my lodge doesn't contribute enough to Grand Lodge or any of its other charities to to keep the homeschool open.
So
You know,
Onyx Palm says artificial peak. That's interesting. Please elaborate. Um, basically, if you look at if you pull the membership data from the last 100 years, we always
late
talk about
50s or early 60s.
yeah, they always talk about like this golden age. Probably even have to do it a little bit longer now because we're all getting old, I guess. Like the last 150 years or as far back as you can in your Grand Lodge, you'll see what looks like low numbers, and then around 1940 or so, you'll see like this really huge jump in membership, and then it just kind of
I would say
tapers
it. I'd
off really
say it.
far.
Yeah, I would say it took off even a little bit before then. It was already starting
Yeah,
to build up.
but if
Basically,
you
right after the depression, it's when the numbers just started going.
yeah, but if you look historically before that jump and before we really took good collected good data, I guess you could say. But you could, I mean, the information is still there. It's just not at the, um, I don't know. It's just not really made available for whatever reason. But the numbers of members was pretty low. It's about 1% of the population, and then you had this huge jump in this time period we're talking about, early 40s, 50s, maybe a little bit before the 40s. You had this huge jump, and there's all kinds of speculation as to why that happened, right? But now it's returning back to equilibrium, and so when we had this huge jump, we we pounced on it, kept our dues low, and built up this huge infrastructure to support. I mean, it was frankly it was a pretty decadent time, right? I mean, we were just enjoying the membership, creating these side orders and building these new buildings and everything. And but for whatever reason, if you look at the trend line, not the trend line, but if you look at the numbers, it starts to it's about where it was before this huge jump about 100 years ago, and
Yeah,
I think
we are
it's
just
probably not
about
held
at a
steady.
flat.
Yeah, so that's what I mean when I say
which is
artificial peak, because it was
exciting,
yeah, it was not the norm. So, what do you guys
right?
think created that jump? Was it a fad? Was it benefits, or simply was it cool to belong? I don't know. What do you think, Dennis?
Well, I think it's a number of things,
Mm-hmm.
just like with anything. I mean, it just happened to be the as Justin said before, the pinnacle time for your perfect storm. So all these different things played into it. So number one, you had dues that were no longer increasing like they should be because of the Great Depression, and so they halted increasing dues with inflation like they used to, and so it became a lot more affordable for somebody to become a Freemason.
I think there was a
And then
good.
and then we also had the the joiners from the world wars that happened, and they needed somewhere for everybody to get together and have some kind of fellowship or bond. They needed that for each other, that camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the advent of suburbs and the you had these huge suburbs that were being built around that time, and you had all these it was like a real estate boom to some degree. It wasn't just big buildings like Grand Lodge or whatever, but it or like even our Scottish Rite, but just suburbs in general being built with big large communities of people. You had people that were going to work together, riding the train home together, um, barbecuing every weekend together, going to church together, bowling together. So they became Freemasons together. And that happened with all the different clubs at the same time. and they all grew in stature. The Freemasons just happened to invest in a lot of real estate at that time where others didn't. I think that it was a great strategy for funds because real estate never really dies in value to a large degree. So
Yeah.
we've got these little nest eggs everywhere that we can sell to make ourselves stronger at this point. But I think that those are the reasons. Those are most of the reasons why. And then also the easy accessibility of the ritual, and making it easier to become a member.
Yeah.
You know.
So James Kirkpatrick has done some homework while we were away. I think the Prince Hall Grand Lodge meets Tuesday, June 20th through Sunday, June 25th. At least that's what the hotel reservations say on their website. So I guess they meet at a hotel. But June 20th, I mean, I'll be out for summer, so that might be worth checking out. So I wonder if I'm gonna sound callous here, but I wonder if it's like our Grand Lodge, where really there's like 1 or 2 days where you really want to be there. You know what I mean? And the rest is
Right.
just kind of a bunch
Right.
of pomp and circumstance. I'd like to find that out.
Right.
Um, uh, I do want to say I want to add to what you're saying. There's actually a TV show that was created in that era that I think really portrays the fraternal mentality at the time, and it was the Flintstones. I think it was Flintstones. No, I mean I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's like they had the Water Buffalo Lodge, and there was nothing
Right.
esoteric or anything about it. It was a place where they went to hang out with their buddies and have a drink and just get out of the house. And it was the thing to do. That's what you did.
Right.
If you were anybody, you were a Water Buffalo, and
Right.
it opened opportunities for you, right? But it was mainly just a place to go have fun. And another comment that was made is Freemasonry skipped a generation, and yeah, Gen X did not join. So it that did its part exasperate the problem, right? Where no one's joining, so decline's happening. But I
I don't
think,
think it's just Gen X either.
well, I'm sure not. I'm sure not. Like, because a lot of
I think
millennials
I
didn't
think
join.
it well, and I was going to say,
They still they got
like
older.
I've argued with you about it before that I think it was the that got your attention. That I think it started with the boomers.
We never argued. We never argued. You
I
had
know. It's kind of
you
scary,
had
isn't it?
you've had the wrong point of view, and I've explained it
I
with
know.
varying levels of success.
Over and over and over
Yeah, yeah.
again. Thank God people keep listening to me, and we and we're moving upward and onward.
Yeah. Um, thus, the
But
Eagles,
yeah, you're
Lions,
right. I mean,
and Elks that existed. Yeah, I mean they're all experience. They if you take a Lions Club membership, like Texas Lions Club membership data, and compare it side to side with the Grand Lodge of Texas membership data, or even like the Southern Baptist Convention membership data, right?
right,
You'll
right,
see parallels, right?
yeah,
It's across the board. All organizations, they're all
right.
lodges are
And I bet
suffering,
those.
churches are suffering, Elks Lodge
Yeah, I
are
was gonna
suffering.
say. Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet all of those can be the same. Um, have the same parallels with charity as well. All the
Mm-hmm.
different charitable organizations were built up in that time period, and that's why we have them today. It wasn't from anybody recently that's done anything of astronomical proportions.
Yep.
Well, there are some Masons out there that do, like we were talking about earlier, the people in the background that are really supporting these efforts. But
The James
for the
Kirkpatricks,
most part, for the most part, um,
the Sean
there's
Rothbergs.
there's not enough people putting their money where their mouth is.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And that's the reality. If we're not gonna invest in it, then it's just gonna go away.
I agree.
It's up to us.
I agree. Well, Dennis, we're almost at 2 hours. It's Sunday
Yeah.
night. Some of us work. I know you're taking
Yep.
a really long break, but some of us work. So, do you have
Yep.
any final thoughts you'd like to share? Or does anyone have any final questions they'd like to ask before we wrap up?
I think it's been a pretty interesting. I'll just start talking while we're waiting for questions or whatever or thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's interesting that when we consider the value that's given, I know I drag it out sometimes. When we consider the value that's given with all the degrees that we do and all of the ritual that we learn and get to see, it's incredibly interesting to me that so many Masons have such a hard time seeing the value in what we have to offer, in our uniqueness. They're so busy trying to continue to feed the the monstrous wheel that's been churning for the past 150 years that they've forgotten the core of who we are. And now we're starting to get some brothers to see that and want to reinvest in that. And it's an interesting time for Freemasonry.
Yeah.
I think that it's a beautiful time for Freemasonry. We're seeing a lot of cool things happen, and yeah, there's a lot of pushback right now, and we're going to have pushback for a while. The change isn't easy. We're just not the kind of people that like to change,
Yeah.
but we're not changing for change's sake. We're trying to bring back um, education that we need, and I think we're in a unique place to where we're going to get to see that happening. So don't give up, guys. Like, you're talking about what you can do in your lodge. Don't give up. That's the first thing. Don't give up. Be the light. Be the light that you want to be.
Yeah.
Feed it. Feed it. And get the buy-in from the brothers who have been um, doing it the way they've done it for so long. Get their buy-in and get them to help you change the momentum in your lodge. So that's about it for me.
Nick Smith hopped in. Hello, brothers. Hey, Nick Smith, we're just wrapping up, but glad to have you here, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And another way to think about the success or not of the Freemasonry and every your own journey. Pretty wise person told me one time, and we were talking about Christianity, like our growth as a person in Christianity, right? And he was saying that if you look at it like a spiral, you keep going around the spiral, and there's this one marker on this coil that you hit, and you hit, and you hit, and you hit. So each time you're learning more information as you go around, but that spiral's getting smaller as you go around as well, so that you finally end up going down and hitting the spot, and that's where you found your peace and your comfort in life and your lessons that you felt like you needed to learn in life, and you become complete with God. And so I think that's the same thing with Freemasonry. Don't give up, because you are spiraling into something great. You're not spiraling down a toilet bowl.
good words of wisdom, Dennis. Thank you.
I'll have to create an image for y'all to see that. He said it a lot better than I just did. That's for sure. I butchered the hell out of it,
Mm.
but but it's but it was a pretty interesting way to look at it. As you're going through life, it's just you continue to go in circles. It's a circle of life, right? You continue going in circles, but it's a big coil,
Mm.
and you're eventually getting closer to where you're supposed to be.
Got you. Well, I just want to say we talked about a lot of really interesting different subjects this evening. We went from how to fix your lodge to women in Freemasonry to esoterics to
That's
York
why I
Rite.
like these lives. Yeah.
Yeah, we cover a lot of different things. We come in here with kind of no real agenda, right? It's just where the conversation goes, and I mean it's been interesting. There's a few subjects that I don't really like to cover too much, like I don't really like to talk about dress codes in lodge, and I don't really like to talk about women in Freemasonry, just because people get riled up, right? But I think women in Freemasonry is an easier conversation than suggesting we wear suits to lodge for some reason. I don't know why, but
Right. Right.
I'm glad we can have the talk. And like I said, I mean, I'm not opposed to anything like that for any other reason other than really the fact that I think it's beneficial for men to have a place where they can just be men with other men. But um, I mean, the world is changing for better or worse, so it'd be interesting to see where things go with that. However, that said, I mean, yeah, it's been a good live. We got an interview lined up this week, don't we? For this coming week.
Um,
I think you
I
said
don't think
16th. Never mind. I keep want to think.
I don't know
No, it can't be
why.
the 16th because that's next Friday.
Yeah, I
It
was gonna
feels
say I don't know why you keep doing that. It's gonna be on the
the
14th. It's
14th.
next
Okay.
week.
All right. I do that to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Just keep you
So
on your
in a
toes.
couple of weeks, we're gonna have an interview with some brothers that created the binational Masonic convention, and very awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna
And
be good.
yeah, it's gonna be a great show.
We have them all on at once.
Yeah.
Man, okay. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, I was gonna separate them out, but then they can all touch on different aspects of it from their view, because one brother is in the Grand Line in New Mexico. One brother is not. He's a brother from El Paso,
Mm-hmm.
um, and another brother is in Mexico, and one of the shakers and movers for the uh, Mexican Freemasonry,
Yeah.
and he's they're all just great guys trying to do what we should be doing anyways and being brotherly to each
Yep.
other. So
It's gonna be good. We're gonna
yes,
we
it
didn't
will.
we didn't record last week just because I had a mic issue and I broke my mic. So I'm getting a new one, and as soon as we get a new one, we're going to. I just don't like this thing. I don't like it. It's too big. It's too bright, but it's too distracting. But once I get a new mic, then we got some new stuff we're gonna make. So it's gonna be exciting. But that said, I mean, you should all probably be in bed right now. Y'all, shame on y'all for staying up listening. Shame on y'all. You should be in bed. You got responsibilities.
Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing the time with us, and that's what I love about the our lives, is being able to just take questions from you guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's what makes this fun for me is the questions.
Yeah. So I would say we got 10 viewers and 8 likes on YouTube. Just be sure, please,
Very
to
cool.
drop us a like if you haven't yet. Be sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, please. Adam, Olivier, you've been so quiet, man. I thought you dropped off. It was a good time thinking. Adam, you need to come visit Hillsboro sometime, man. Be glad to have you. I went to
Absolutely.
your
All
lodge. It's not like I'm asking you to come to Goliad or something crazy.
it's not like we're asking you to come to a premier lodge or anything. We're just asking you to settle for Hillsboro. It's okay.
Well, if you mean the Premier Lodge of South Texas, I guess you covered there.
Right, right.
Was it like 6 of you? Uh,
Yep.
Adam says he's taking a picture in front of Goliath, actually a dope lodge.
It is a beautiful lodge.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, time to wrap it up. Y'all have a,
Brothers, thank you for having us.
yep, y'all have a good week, and looking forward to
Keep
next
it
week.
between the points.
Yes.
Keep it between the points.
You
You know
already
that was a Ronnie James Dio thing.
a what?
A Ronnie James